Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Cozypreneur. So I've been getting a lot of questions around this idea of, hey, I have multiple offers, but I'm not really sure how to balance them all. I'm not sure how to market them in a way that makes sense. When do I talk about offer A? When do I talk about offer B? And this is something that I really struggled with, especially when I started my membership, because I was promoting the studio and I was promoting the membership, and I was feeling the same struggle. Like, what do I talk about? How do I do this? And so I want to dive into some of the reasons why that felt hard for me and what you can do in your business. So let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the Cozypreneur podcast. If this is your first time listening, Cozypreneur is all about helping you make money and work with the dreamiest of clients. So grab your beverage, get your cozy socks on, and let's dive in. When I first started my business back in late 2022, early 2023, I was taught that I needed a 5-product suite. And so I had a low ticket, a low to mid, a mid to high, and a high ticket offer planned out. I actually wonder if I still have some of those Google Docs with like ideas for 5 different offers. I have never had 5 offers. I never made it to 5 offers. I have very much stayed at 2 different offers. One is the copy studio and the second is the membership. But the first reason that this horrible advice doesn't work is because in order to have 5 good offers that really work for your clients, that really work for you, that have good onboarding, like everything that's involved in a really good offer, and to market those offers and write the sales page for it and write the emails for it, if you are doing that for 5 offers, like that is an insane amount of work. Like that is not a realistic amount of work for anybody. So I highly recommend you don't need 5 offers. You don't even need 2 offers. You can have a successful business with 1 offer. So the biggest reason why I struggled with promoting both the membership and the copy studio at the same time is that the audiences were different, right? And so when I think about the copy studio, most of the time I'm working with businesses who have been around at least 5 to 10 years, some of them like 20, 30 years, right? They all have a big team. They're all doing the work, but they don't have time to sit down and figure out their messaging and write their website copy and all of that fun stuff, right? Versus inside the membership copy classroom, it's usually people in their first 3-ish years of business. I would say, correct me if I'm wrong if you're listening, but I would say many people actually enjoy the process of writing their emails, writing their website copy, and enjoy knowing like how to do this in the weeds, which I think is a really good skill to have, because even if you're going to outsource down the line, like it makes sense to know what's going on and to know the process a little bit. And it's not to say that there's no overlap between these 2 audiences, right? Like sometimes somebody in the membership will outsource a specific project or something like that. I haven't really had people go the other way. The whole point is that I have these 2 offers. The audiences are different, so the message is different. And trying to put in my brain how to market this, how to create a content calendar around this, it's really tricky. It's really, really tricky. And so what kind of ended up happening naturally in my business is that I ended up creating 2 different marketing systems where for my copy studio, I say that it's by accident because I'm somebody who, if something is working, I lean into it more. And if something's not working, I kind of back away, right? And so for the copy studio, what I ended up leaning into was a lot of networking, a lot of referrals, right? And when I say referrals, like it's not just past clients, it's designers that I work with, it's videographers that I work with, it's photographers that I work with. All of these people who have worked with me in past projects, they bring me in when their clients need something. And I do the same for them, right? So I have this partnership. And just a note about referrals, I don't have like specific referral partners. I tend to do it on best fit. So if somebody comes to me and I say, hey, this would be a a great fit for this specific person, then I would refer them out in that way. But that has been the most successful way for me to get clients inside the studio, has been really leaning into this like high touch, relationship-based networking and referral system. In the copy classroom, it is a lower price point. What I found that has worked for Copy Classroom is my email marketing, is this podcast, is collaborations, like growing my email list. There's summits and different opportunities in that way. And what I've realized is like, it really is like I'm running two separate businesses inside one business, because I'm talking to two different people and I'm saying two different things. So that's not saying like I can't cross-pollinate, right? Like I usually, like if somebody is inquiring about the copy studio, but they don't have the funds, I will send them to Copy Classroom, or vice versa, right? Like if somebody needs more support than they are, if they don't have the time to put in the work in Copy Classroom, then they might be a better fit for the studio. But basically, it's two businesses under one umbrella. And I think that's why it's so confusing, because you're really, in your head, you're trying to make it one business, because you're like, well, it's like, I'm doing the same thing, really. Like it has the same end result, right? You're getting high converting copy, but the processes are different, right? The promise is the same. So when you think about bringing in a new offer to your business, if it's a course or if it's a membership, some of the things that you want to consider is, do you have the capacity to market both offers? And what is going to be the system to market? And so say you're like just focusing on email marketing, you can alternate between them, right? You can do a campaign for your course, and then, in between this campaign and the next campaign, you can talk about your done for you services. So you can kind of alternate in that way. But really thinking about like, one, what offer is your priority? So which one do you need to like really make enough money? If you are strapped for cash, I would not start with a membership. I would really work on networking and trying to fill your done for you offers. And so really thinking about like, what's your capacity? And then if you are thinking about marketing, like where can you do a campaign for one offer? And then where can you do a campaign for another offer? Or does it even make sense to cross-pollinate the marketing for both of these offers? Are they the same ideal client? Are they different ideal clients? It's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit of a balancing act. It's certainly something that you can do. But I think if you think about it in terms of like, hey, I need one message for this offer because it's this person, and I need this message. And then you can kind of figure out like, one, what's the same between them, right? What are the common parts that I'm going to be talking about all the time, because it's the same between both of these offers? And then what are some things that are different? And so those different pieces you can focus on, like when you're talking about your membership launch, you can focus on those pieces. And then when you're talking about your done for you or your coaching or whatever it is, you can focus on those pieces and really differentiate for your people, like who is a better fit for each one of these, so that they can self-select and they can self-differentiate. But either way, I am thinking of my two offers as two separate businesses that live under the same umbrella of the Stacy Braga brand. And they each get their own marketing, where one is very based in networking and relationships, and the other is more my podcast, my email marketing. And yes, it's built on relationships and referrals too, but that's not the main source for it. You can have multiple offers. It's okay to have multiple offers. I would introduce them slowly, one at a time, so you can make sure they're really great offers. But don't just assume that because they have different price points and that you put them into this like nice product suite that they're going to easily work together and they're going to mesh together. If you have two ideal clients, you have two businesses, right? You have two messages. And so if you are somebody who's like, oh, this is like why I'm struggling, like that's okay. Give yourself some time to like test out different things, to shift, to think about your strategy, what's going to make sense. What's my priority for the rest of the year? How many launches or campaigns do I want to do? Which offer is going to make more sense for different marketing channels? And then what are opportunities that I can cross-pollinate and be like, hey, maybe you're not a good fit for this, but you would be a good fit for that. And so that's really something to think about if you have multiple offers that you are trying to market. So if you are feeling confused, overwhelmed about how to market your different offers, then really ask yourself, right? Like, do these offers have the same ideal client? Is the messaging going to be the same? And is this really one business or two businesses? Even if they're under the same umbrella of what you do and they help people do the same thing, is it one or two? So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to leave a review and rate the podcast if you love listening to it. It does help more people find us. And thank you so much for listening. Until next time. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred listening platform. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe for weekly episodes about how to make money and work with the dreamiest of clients without having to get dressed in the morning. Make sure to check out the show notes down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.